In our last discussion, we explored the Islamic view of whether human beings are born religious or shaped by culture. We learned about fitra, the natural instinct placed in every soul to recognize its creator. We saw how the Quran describes a pre-earthly pledge where every soul testified, "Am I not your Lord?" They said, "Yes, indeed." All of this pointed to the same truth. Belief in God is not a cultural invention. It is embedded in human nature itself. We also looked at science, psychology, anthropology, neuroscience, and saw that children are naturally inclined to believe in design, purpose, and even a higher power. In this video, we'll dive into what other religions like Christianity and Hinduism have to say about this subject. In Christianity, the belief that human beings are naturally inclined toward God is very central. Christians hold that this longing for God is not a product of imagination or mere cultural traditions, but a gift placed in every heart by God Himself. This is quite similar to the Islamic concept of fitrah. In the book of Genesis, when Adam and Eve are created, they are not just given life, they are given direct communion with God. God walks with them in the Garden of Eden, Genesis 3:8, which symbolizes that closeness to God is part of the original human design. This sets the tone. Human beings are made for God, and separation from Him creates a restlessness that every generation feels. The Old Testament repeatedly shows this theme. The Psalms are full of prayers expressing a natural human yearning for God. For example, Psalm 42 verse 1-2 says, "As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, my God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When can I go and meet with God?" This powerful image tells us that just like animals cannot live without water, humans cannot truly live without connection to God. This thirst is natural. It is not taught. It is built into the soul. Later in Ecclesiastes 3:11 we read, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end." This verse has been very influential in Christian thought. It means that every person carries an awareness of eternity, a sense that life is not limited to this world. Deep down, people feel that there is something beyond, that death is not the end. This longing for eternity is proof, according to Christians, that humans are naturally directed toward God, who is eternal. The New Testament also emphasizes this idea. In Romans 2:14-15, Paul explains that even those who never received the law of Moses still show evidence of it in their lives. He writes, "They show that the requirements of the law are written on their hearts, their consciences also bearing witness, and their thoughts sometimes accusing them, and at other times defending them." Here Paul is describing the conscience, the inner moral compass that every human has. According to him, this is God's signature inside us. It shows that humans do not need to be taught morality from scratch, because some sense of right and wrong is already planted within them. This is very close to the Islamic concept of fitra, where every child is born naturally inclined to belief in God. Saint Augustine, one of the greatest Christian thinkers, put this into beautiful words. In his Confessions he prayed, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." For Augustine, the fact that people keep chasing wealth, power, or pleasure but never feel satisfied is proof that humans are naturally oriented toward God. Nothing else can bring true peace because we were designed for Him. Later, St. Thomas Aquinas, a great medieval theologian, expanded on this idea. He argued that humans naturally seek happiness, but not just any happiness. They seek the ultimate, perfect happiness that never fades. He explained that this ultimate happiness cannot be found in material things, fame, or even human love, because all these things are temporary. True and perfect happiness can only be found in God, who is eternal. Aquinas believed that this constant human search for something more, something infinite, shows that humans are made to seek God by nature. At the same time, Christianity also explains why some people reject or ignore God. In Romans 1:19-20, Paul writes, "Since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." This means that the existence of God is clear through the beauty and order of creation. Nature itself, with its complexity and harmony, points to a creator. But Paul adds that some people suppress this truth because of pride, sin, or worldly desires. So, according to Christianity, humans are born naturally religious, but their surroundings, temptations, and choices can cover up this natural awareness. The Church Fathers also use the idea of logos spermatikos, seeds of the Word, especially Justin Martyr. He argued that since Christ is the divine Word, small seeds of His truth exist in all people, even in those outside the Christian faith. This shows that the instinct for God is universal, not limited to one culture or one religion. In modern times, Christian writers have continued this line of thought. C.S. Lewis, one of the most famous Christian authors, explained in his book Mere Christianity that all humans feel a deep sense of moral obligation, a law that tells them they ought to behave a certain way, even when they don't want to. He called this the law of human nature. Lewis argued that this universal law cannot come from evolution or culture alone, because it is the same across different civilizations. He concluded that it comes from God, the Creator who planted this law inside us. Even Christian psychology supports this view. Some psychologists, like Viktor Frankl, observed that humans naturally seek meaning in life. Frankl called this the will to meaning, the drive to find purpose and significance in existence. For Christians, this search for meaning is another sign of the soul's longing for God. So when we look at Christianity in full, it paints a clear picture. Humans are not spiritual by accident or by culture alone. Instead, every person is created with an inner pull toward God. The Bible describes this as the law written on our hearts, the eternity planted in our souls, the thirst for living water, and the conscience that guides us. The early church fathers, medieval scholars, and modern Christian thinkers all agreed. Our hearts are restless until they rest in God. This restlessness, this longing, this deep hunger for the divine, is proof that humans are naturally religious beings, and culture can shape it, but not erase it. Now there comes a question, what Hinduism says about this subject. When we look at Hinduism, it gives us a very fascinating answer to whether humans are naturally religious or just trained by culture. Hindus believe that every human being is not just a body or a mind, but an eternal soul, the Atman. And this soul, they say, is not created when we're born, and it doesn't die when we die. It has always existed and will always exist. The Bhagavad Gita puts it beautifully. The soul is unborn, eternal, and everlasting. Gita 2:20. So from this perspective, being religious isn't something taught by parents or priests. It's something that's already built into the very core of who we are. In fact, Hindu philosophy teaches that the soul is actually part of God Himself. The Upanishads say, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. In other words, deep inside, every person is connected to the divine. This means that our longing for God isn't something society programs into us. It's something that naturally arises because the soul remembers where it came from. Even if someone grows up in a place where no religious rituals are taught, Hinduism says that inner spark, that feeling that there must be something higher, will still be there. There's another powerful idea in the Katha Upanishad. It says God made our senses face outward, so we're always distracted by the world outside. That's why people often don't notice the divine presence within. But once in a while, someone turns their attention inward and suddenly realizes God has been there all along. This explains why some people seem non-religious. It's not that they don't have faith, it's just hidden under layers of distraction. But when life gets hard, when someone is in pain, curious about the meaning of life or longing for truth, the heart naturally turns toward God. The Gita even says, 4 kinds of people turn to God: those in distress, those seeking wealth, the curious, and those searching for knowledge. Now, Hinduism also recognizes that culture does play a role. Culture decides how you worship, whether you bow before Shiva, sing songs to Krishna, pray to Devi, or sit in silent meditation. These are different outward forms, but the inner pull is the same. That's why the Rig Veda says, "Truth is one, but the wise call it by many names." Culture gives us names, rituals, and festivals, but the natural urge to seek God is already there in every person. Think about yoga too. It literally means union, the union of the soul with the divine. Patanjali, the great teacher of yoga, said that when we quiet the restless mind, our true nature, which is spiritual, shines through. This shows again that spirituality isn't something you have to add to yourself. It's something uncovered, like cleaning the dust off a mirror so it reflects light. Even the great epics of Hinduism tell this story. In the Mahabharata, when Draupadi is humiliated, she doesn't stop to think about culture or ritual. She simply cries out, "Krishna!" and immediately, she is saved. In the Ramayana, when people are in distress, their first instinct is to call on Rama's name. These stories reflect what Hindus believe. In moments of truth, every soul remembers God, even if culture has never taught them how to pray. So, from the Hindu view, religion is not something made by culture. Yes, culture shapes the outer form, but the inner longing, that spark of devotion, that search for meaning, that natural sense of the divine, is already within every human being. It's part of the soul, and since the soul is eternal, so is this natural religiosity.